cases like this, I would listen to the problem and investigate at the state level what can be done to solve it. And what he said.
With regard to pedestrian safety, in my neighborhood, I served on our Traffic and Pedestrian Safety Committee, and we formed that committee because we had concerns about traffic, particularly on Sheridan Road, which is the street I live on. We did this several years ago, and we went to our county commissioner at that time, who was Gail Waldorf, and really made our case for why it mattered for us to have a place to walk along a busy street. With regard to crosswalks, I've recently talked with Dave Pelton in the DeKalb County Public Works Department about this issue, and it seems that the state's position on this, on La Vista Road, because it is a state route, is that they do not recognize, as they repave the street, they will not recognize the non-signal intersections. In other words, where we have a crosswalk and there's no traffic light there and there's no signals there to identify it as a crosswalk. I think that's something that we really need to force DOT to rethink, is that where you have midpoints between major streets, major intersections, we need access across those streets, and to have not traffic lights, but signalized lights that identify that as a crosswalk is a fairly simple thing to do, but it's just not a priority for DOT right now. And I agree with what Tommy said. It's just not on their radar, so they're not making it an issue. And it'll be up to us as a community to make that an issue for them. But there is a solution to that, but we have to be vocal about it. And I would do that as your state senator.
And I second several of the things that have been said about the issue. There is on the county level, the Cobb County has an ordinance that applies to what they call complete streets. And what that does is it identifies that there are other things that happen on streets besides just cars going up and down. And it recognizes that people walk, it recognizes that people bike, and that has to be sort of a statewide mandate, as they've mentioned. The problem on La Vista, of course, is, as they mentioned, it's a state highway. And so all of this is going to have to come through the DOT. Now the question is, how are we going to articulate a vision for transportation at the state level that includes the type of pedestrian safety that we all understand is required here, particularly in La Vista? And I think that at a very fundamental level, when we're talking about going up against the state DOT and revamping the way that they think about transportation, right now it's cars only. Right now, the solutions that come out of the DOT are build more roads and move more cars. And we have to get that complete streets mentality in from the state down. What that's going to require, in my opinion, is talking to the folks from Wyandotte, making sure that people understand how those things can benefit everybody, and building those types of coalitions, not just within the region, but around the state, because as we've acknowledged, it's a state issue, particularly on the Vista Road. And I think this is a very good example of why the lack of vision at the state level impacts us every single day in our neighborhoods, and why we have to have broad-based new energy with regard to those particular items. And so I think that it is true that we're going to have to be advocates for it, and we're also going to have to sell it as broadly as we can.
I just want to add that as a libertarian, I believe that public safety, my basic belief is your rights end where my nose begins. And so public safety is one of the most fundamental aspects of government. So it's the one thing that has the most merit in government.
Thank you. Okay. Some more questions. Yes, sir. If you don't mind standing up and as loud as you can.
Hi, my name is Robert Draco.